and settle in to yourself. So laying down onto the floor, closing your eyes and just spending a few moments connecting with your breath. And if you want to place your hands on your tummy, that'd be awesome, just so you can feel your belly rising and falling. Just think about letting your navel softly sink back towards the spine, feeling the void of your tummy expanding. Letting everything go. So your Manipura chakra, one of strength, courageousness, but also obviously we've got the polarities, those negative aspects that sometimes show themselves up when we might feel a little bit sluggish. So checking in on this physical being that you are today. What energy do we feel in the body? Do we feel awake? Do we feel tired? Is there something we need to be aware of physically, emotionally, that we, want to consider during our practice today? Emotionally, how are we feeling today? Are we feeling happy, sad, angry, contented? And then on that physical aspect, have we got any aches and pains showing themselves up? Do we feel stiff? Do we feel limber? And this is something in the middle of all this that's kind of knitting everything together. Sometimes we might feel tension in the shoulder, and it'd be coming from the fact that, there's something going on in our lives elsewhere, and we're just kind of holding that there. Okay, so let's start our movement practice. So bringing your feet inward, standing your feet up just in front of you. You've got your knees pointing to the ceiling, feet softly resting into the floor. Just begin to wiggle your toes and scrunch your toes. If you could maybe imagine that underneath your feet, you've got like a little sheet or a blanket, and you just want to scrunch that blanket up with your toes. That'd be quite a nice thing to do. And obviously letting go of it. And then let go of that movement. And then bring your right foot off the floor and place your right hand on the right knee. And then all we're going to do is just find a really interesting, nice way to bring your hand to the foot and the foot to the hand. So sliding your hand along the shin as you slowly unbend your knee. And you're taking your hand towards your foot towards your hand. So it's a dual movement. Slowly rebending the knee, sliding your hand back down the shin to the knee. And just do that a few times, slowly extending the leg upwards, slowly extending your hand towards the foot, slowly rebending the knee, slowly replacing the hand back on the knee. So it's just, again, just keeping that contact with hand to shin to the foot. And it doesn't matter if that leg doesn't straighten. We've all got different bodies at the end of the day. Particularly at the beginning of the lesson, I'm not going to say, make that leg straight and press your hips into the floor. Just let your body do what it needs to do. So you're going to find that the body accommodates that movement. You might notice that your back rounds, it goes a little bit deeper into the floor. You're going to feel that lower back come a little bit heavier. And then as you rebend the knee, you might even feel that change of sensation through the lower back. So it's just a slow awareness of taking that hand to foot to hand, noticing how the rest of the body responds. You might even feel yourself leaning into the top of the pelvis. And as you bring that foot away, you might even feel again that lower half of the pelvis feeling a little bit heavier on the floor. So just pay attention to the sensations you're feeling. And then just rebend the knee. And if you want to just place the foot back into the floor for a second, shall we actually do the other leg for a minute? So bringing your left foot up, placing your hand on the knee, and again, slowly unbending your knee and taking your hand to the foot to the hand, and again, rebending the knee. Just a few times. The way I've been kind of thinking about this week, I don't know, like imagine you're being really lazy, you may be putting a sock on, or you're laying on bed and you've got an itch on your foot and you've just woken up and you don't want to disturb what's going on in the body. So it's just a really kind of gentle movement. And again, just noticing how your tailbone lifts up off the floor. You roll into that lower back, you've got that change of sensation. And each time you place your hand, your foot back towards the floor, you can feel, the pelvis becoming heavier at the base towards the tailbone. And then when you're ready, just settle down and bring your feet back into the floor. And now think about your right foot again. So pick your knee up. So again, you've got that foot off the floor, placing your hand on the inside edge of the right knee. And now imagine you've got an itch on your inner ankle. And you're just going to slide your hand down the shin. You're bringing the foot towards the hand towards the foot. And then slide again your hand along the shin back to the knee. You can place the foot back in the floor. So again, just gently lifting the foot, sliding your hand down towards the inner ankle, hand to foot, foot to hand, sliding again your hand back. Just finding some nice ways to work and feel that movement. Noticing again that you roll a little bit to your right side, maybe let that happen, just so you can maybe, don't fight the movement. If it feels good to roll a little bit to the right, roll a little bit to the right. Notice that your left foot is just gently pressing into the floor, that your left hip rolls away from the floor. And then let's replace that right foot and bring attention to the left foot. So we're going to take the left foot off the floor, left hand to the inner edge of the knee. And again, you're just taking your hand to the foot to hand. Just notice that you'll roll a little bit to the left as you do it. So that pelvis rolls to the left, right hip picks itself up off the floor. Just finding again some interesting ways to find that foot. And then when you're ready, just placing the foot down and think about now your right ankle on the outside. Imagine you've got an itch on that outer ankle or maybe on your little toe. So you're going to lift the knee up, turn the knee in, bring the foot out, and just again, bring your hand to foot, foot to hand. And just do that a few times, sliding your hand down towards your little toe on that outside edge. You've got a little bit of internal rotation. And again, just noticing that your hips are kind of wiggling a little bit, your pelvis picks itself up, scrunches that right side. So again, just let your spine be involved in that movement. So you're just letting your spine extend on the left and shorten on the right. And then relaxing your foot into the floor. We're going to do the same with that left foot. So picking up your left knee, and you're going to take your hand down to the foot, foot to hand. So just down towards your little toe. And again, you're feeling the knee rotating, that left side shortens, the right side lengthens. And then when you're ready, just bringing your feet into the floor, and we can then pick up both feet, sliding your hands onto the knees, extending both feet up to the ceiling, hands towards the feet to hand. Just do that a few times. Start to play with all those movements at both sides at the same time. So we're going to maybe widen out the knees, bringing your hands towards both ankles, and then maybe sliding your feet up towards the ceiling, bringing your hands towards the feet, feet towards the hands. Bringing both feet outwards, can you bring your hands towards your little toes? Have a little play with all those little movements. And it might be some that you might want to skip, particularly if your hips are not your best friends, obviously. You might just want to explore extending your feet up to the ceiling. And just notice what your body needs. Today, I think I need to extend my feet up rather than going the other way. No right, no wrong, just doing what your body says it needs the most. And then let's drop our feet down into the floor just in front of us. Open out your arms like little, well, not even like wings, are they? Just like you're on a, I can't even explain myself. Just bring your arms out by about shoulder height. That's a better description. With your backs of your hands on the floor, relax your fingers. Widen out your feet just a little bit. With this one, it's very easy just to have your feet together. So I just want you to think about having your heels in line with your hip sockets. And then take your left hand and place it on your center of your chest. So you're going to let the elbow just relax into the floor. And then very slowly sliding your left hand along your chest towards your right elbow. Look at the hand as you go. Follow the movement from your wrist. Feel that now your left shoulder's picked itself up off the floor. And if you keep sliding your hand to the right, your knees will fall to the right and you'll lay on your right side. Keep sliding your hand forwards until your head turns towards the floor. And then we're going to begin to pull our left shoulder back. Keep the arm straight. Let the hand slide up the arm across the chest. Notice that the more you pull, it's going to feel really nice to roll back onto your back and stand the knees up. And again, relax your arms out at shoulder height. And then doing that again, hand slides to chest, slide it all the way across to the right. Look at it with your eyes. Feel the order of movement from the shoulder, the ribs, the hips laying on your right side. Reaching that hand forwards, head turns towards the floor. And again, slowly unwinding. Again, let yourself fall back onto your back. Let your feet stand up. Let your knees stand up. And again, softly lengthening back onto your back. And then we can maybe do this again, and we just maybe add in a little more of a twist, because this is a twist. It's a very pure twist. So the shoulder moves, the ribs move, the head moves, then the pelvis moves, and then you've again got a neutral spine. Sliding your hand forwards. Again, we're moving the chest. This time, as you slide your hand back, keep your knees resting on that right side. Keep sliding your left shoulder back, open out the arms, settling into twist with your knees to the right. Maybe even turn your head to look towards that left hand. And then start that process again, taking your left hand to the chest, sliding it across the right, all the way to the right hand. Again, follow the movement through the bones. And maybe this time, as we bring that hand back along the chest, allow yourself to settle back onto your back, rolling back to our very first starting position. We're just going to do that 3 times. So sliding again your left hand across to the right, all the way down towards your right hand. Let the knees fall over. And then unwinding, keeping your knees this time to the right, settling into twist. So again, let everything stay connected through the bones. And then we unwind by sliding the left hand across the chest towards the right. Reaching forwards, allowing the head to turn towards the floor. And again, as you roll this time onto your back, let the hips fall back, let the knees stand up, and again, coming back to our starting place. Just do that one more time. So as we settle into our twist, just rest here for a moment. So keep your knees resting towards that right side. I really don't care if your knees are stuck together. We've all got different hips. So if I said press your knees together, it's going to feel horrible. So if your knees, my left knee's actually slid a little bit further back than my right knee. Some of our knees are going to be apart. So please don't worry. Just be guided by sensation and what feels good. But then from this twist, we're going to start to come to seated like we did last week. So your left hand finds the chest, you slide it over to the right, but this time bring your left hand to the floor, lift your head up a little bit, and then bring your left elbow towards the floor and lean into your right elbow. So you're going to start to kind of come up a little bit. And then unwind back onto your back, lay back down, and again, settle back down onto your back. So again, your left hand finds the chest, you slide it to the floor on your right, lifting your head, the left elbow again, lean it to the floor, pressing into your right elbow again, you lean up again. Notice that your left knee's kind of come in towards the floor. Mine's actually slid off my right knee. Unwind, come back onto your back, and then we're going to just do that again, but then this time, we're going to bring some focus to what our head's doing. So again, your left hand finds the chest. It slides to the right, to the floor on the right. The left elbow leans the floor. As you come up this time, start to bring your head up and to the left, kind of finding yourself coming to seated. Bringing then both hands around towards your left shin. Look over your left shoulder. And then turning your body to the right, looking over your right shoulder. As you do that, let your left hip float up off the floor. And then unwind. So we're going to slide again, come back to neutral. Slide your right hand back out onto the floor. And then roll back onto your back. So we're going to start again this time with our knees standing up. So just settling on your back with your knees standing up, and we'll just take it again really slowly. So your left hand finds your chest. It slides across to the floor on the right, just under your right armpit. Let your knees come over to the right, lifting your head, coming up, and just keep sliding your head up to the left, coming up to seated, bringing those hands around to the left, look over your left shoulder. Turning your body to the right, looking over your right shoulder. And then again, sliding your right hand out onto the floor, fall softly onto your back. We're going to do that one more time. So if you're just catching up, it's absolutely fine. The process is just as important. So your left hand comes to your chest. It slides across to your right shoulder and finds the floor just under your right armpit. Let your knees fall to the right. Left elbow leans to the floor, you press into your right, keep spiraling your head up to center. There we go. Taking your hands all the way around to your left side, looking over your left shoulder. And then again, taking your hands around to the right, looking over your right shoulder. So come into Sage's twist. Left shoulder, left hip floats up off the floor. Slide back onto your back, and we're going to go the opposite side. So just again, relax down, extend your legs out into the floor just for a moment. Take a breath, and we're going to move to the opposite side. We do get a lot more movement coming into this very shortly, don't you worry. So, taking your knees up again, so you've got your feet standing on the floor, arms out at shoulder height with the backs of the hands on the floor. And then taking this time your right hand to the center of your chest. Slide your right hand across to your left elbow, look at it. Let your knees fall over to the left, sliding your right hand over the left. Keep sliding it forwards and just let your head turn in towards the floor. Unwinding, so you're going to let that right shoulder pull back, keep the arms straight, keeping your right hand sliding across the body at all times, settling back on that starting position. Arms drawing out at shoulder height. And again, that right hand finds the chest, slides across to the left. Let your knees fall over to the left. Again, sliding that right hand all the way forward till your head turns to the floor. So again, you've got a really beautiful pure twist. And again, sliding your right hand back up the left arm, coming all the way back onto your back, and again, unwinding. I like that some of us are still kind of playing with that last movement because it's beautiful, isn't it? So we can begin to turn this into that twist again. So laying back onto your back. The next time you bring your hands over to the left, keep your knees over to the left. So sliding your right arm up the left, keep your knees to the left. So you just start to bring that right shoulder softly back to the floor, up and out into twist. Maybe look at your right hand. And then unwinding, the right hand finds the chest. It slides across towards the left elbow, towards the left hand. Reaching softly forwards. And then this time, maybe as we slide ourselves onto the back again, let the knees come up with us too. So we're settling back into our starting position. Hand slides again back to the chest, down to the left elbow, down to the left wrist. Follow the order of movement, settling again on our left side. Keep sliding that right hand forward. So again, that chest begins to turn to the floor again. There's a beautiful exploration of these shoulders going on. And then we unwind, sliding the shoulder back, this time keeping your knees to the left as we open out into twist. And again, looking towards that right hand if that feels comfortable. Right hand slides the chest, sliding it across to the left. Again, let your head turn with that, look towards the floor. My head's lifted because I've got an earphone in, by the way. I don't want to crush that sound. And then again, unwinding back onto your back, let the knees come with it. And again, settle back into our back position. So final time, taking your hand across to the left. I'm not having too many of these. I've lost count now, so I'm really enjoying it. Keeping your knees to the left as you unwind. So again, settle into your twist. Final time, and just pause in your twist this time. So keeping those knees to the left. Again, notice what your knees want to do. So again, if that right knee falls back, wonderful. Think about relaxing your left knee into the floor. Think about relaxing the inner thighs. And again, don't matter, don't press the knees together. Think about where your hip, what feels right for your hips. So now we're going to start that process of coming up to seated. So your right hand comes to the chest. This time it goes to the floor just under your left armpit. So let the fingertips find the floor. Your right elbow begins to press forward. Lift your head up. Press into your left elbow and just float up a little bit. So you're leaning into your left elbow. Your right elbow's kind of rolled into the floor. And then unwind, roll back onto your back and settle back down. Right hand again starts the movement. Find the floor. Elbow comes forward. So just following that movement, leaning into your left elbow. You might already start to feel that this is a little bit lighter now. And then again, rolling back onto your back. I tend to find third time just feels a little bit more lighter. You get used to what's happening. So on this hand again, right hand finds the floor. Elbow finds the floor, left elbow. Keep floating your head up this time to the right. Spiraling up, bringing your hands around to that right side, look over your right shoulder. And then taking your hands around to the left, looking over your left shoulder, floating your right hip up. So again, this is called Sage's twist. Fall back to center, and then slide your left hand out away onto the floor, roll back onto your back, and do it all again. Take your time. I think it's lovely. I think this is a really moving, I love a moving meditation. I think this just completely encompasses that feeling that your body and your mind are so connected, feeling how everything just begins to gel, and you can just keep your eyes closed even and just feel the movement through the bones, sensing gravity. And again, unwinding, settling onto back, and again, just releasing out. And the next time we come up, we're going to stay up. Yay, staying up. Enjoy the process. I feel like I could float out of bed doing this. And then when you're ready, come and just take a seat. Settle in a comfortable seating position. That's always important. You've got to sit where you feel right and just take a moment, rest in. I feel really mellow now. So I'm going to make you feel really tired now. No, I'm not. I might do. Come and take a seat on your feet. So shall I go? Yeah, I'll get onto the mat now. Just going to readjust this camera. Billy stole the roly-poly so I can get on the mat a little bit now. So taking a seat on your feet. That rhymes. I didn't mean to. And slide your hands onto the floor in front of you. So again, let your hands guide you down. So you're going to feel your belly resting down onto your thighs. If you need to support your head for a second, support your head. Let your head begin to bow to the floor. Take some really good breaths. So just bring that awareness again back to that Manipura chakra where we feel it in that tummy. You might feel it a bit more. So we're going to do a few little planks actually at this point. So feel your belly resting on your thighs, sensing how you can breathe into that lower back. Just by having those knees together, you're going to feel a beautiful internal massage just from your breath. So we're going to start to press down into our shins. Just a little bit. Notice as you press down, your bottom begins to float up away from your heels. Let go of that and soften back down into your child's pose. And then just do it again, pressing into the shins. Feeling your bottom floating up. Can you feel almost like your lower back begins to lengthen and then again settle back down? So it's that press of the shins goes into the hips, into the lower back. We start to float up. Keep going this time, bringing that weight forwards onto hands. and settling onto all fours. As we come to all fours, lift your tailbone, drop your belly, look forward, so coming into cow pose. And then look down the wall, look down the floor, look down your mat, look down to your knees, gently press your hands forwards and guide yourself back to child's pose. So press with your shins to float up, coming up to all fours, resting into your hands, tailbone lifts, spine lifts, looking up into cow pose. And then look down the floor, look down the wall, look down, I've just got those two mixed up, looking down between your hands, look down to your knees, and then gently press your hands forwards. As you press your hands forwards, let the hands guide your bottom down to hips, settle down. And then again, press with shins, floating up to all fours, tailbone begins to lift, looking forwards. And from here, I want to walk hands forward. So we're going to walk towards our kneeling plank. So just walk your hands forwards and span. And then take your shoulders forwards over the hands, feeling then your tummy begin to tighten, walking into our kneeling plank. So obviously we can stay on our knees, let that tummy begin to tighten, or we can push the heels away, let the knees float up, press deeply into the floor, the hands moving into full plank. We're staying here for just for 5 breaths in total. I say just. Now drop your knees. And then use your hands again. Push your hips back with your hands to your heels, settle down into child. Press with your shins, floating up to all fours. And again, feel your spine pushing up through you, dropping into kneeling plank. And if you're comfortable about pushing the knees away, push your heels away, feel your heels, lift your knees, press down through the fingers in your full plank. Dropping knees, pushing hands forwards. Again, sink your bottom down. So let the hands push the hips. Pushing with the shins, floating up to all fours. So this is our third and final plank. So again, rest into hands, push the knees away with those that settle into plank if that is your back. This time, drop your knees. And just notice as you drop your knees, my shoulders are kind of over fingertips, and now my tummy's really tight, and I'm going to now relax my hips, coming into an upward dog, feeling that heart floating forward. And I don't like to stay here too long, so we won't. So again, push with your hands, feel your hips coming up, keep pushing with your hands, keep pushing with your hands, so you feel your hips hinging back towards your heels, and again, settle down. And then we do that again, pressing with shins, floating up. Again, maybe just linger for a second in whichever plank you feel you want to do. And then let your shoulders come forwards, relax your hips, let your heart come forward. And then again, press with your hands again. Keep pressing, 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 feel your hips hinging back, settle down. And again, when you're ready, press and float up. Again, settling into whichever plank. And then again, dropping your knees. And again, release your hips coming into your up dog. So again, just let your head look forward. So when we do up dog, it feels like a really good thing to look up. It's not to keep that neck nice and lengthened. Now from this up dog, bend your elbows. Take your time. Imagine you've got a really hot mat. You don't want to burn your belly. You're just going to come down really, really tentatively. Come down, 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 very gently. And then widen out your hands. You're just going to do a little pose. So if anybody's been to these somatic lessons that I teach, I'm going to do a classic somatic movement just to release you back a little bit. So hands nice and wide. So if you were to look at your elbows, you've got shoulders, elbow, wrists. So try to make some little angles there. Press it, come up onto fingertips then. So imagine that underneath each hand, you've got a little like half tennis ball. And then push into the fingertips. And see how it feels to come up into a cobra. So you're pressing into those fingertips and then settle back down. From this place, you're going to look towards your right hand. So place your right elbow on the floor just in front of you. And the hand's going to be acting as a little pillow. Turning your head to look to your right elbow, drop your cheek onto your elbow. So I can't do it, onto your hand, sorry. I'm going to keep my head lifted because I've got this microphone thing on. So you've got your left cheek on the back of your right hand and you're looking at your right elbow. Your left arm should just be down by your side. So from this place, lift your right elbow up and pull the shoulder in so your elbow floats off the floor. Then bring your hand up and then bring your head up. And you're just kind of looking up over your right shoulder. So you pick this right side of the body up, slowly return back to the floor. Elbow rest, head rest, hands rest. Just pause for a second. And then maybe start with the shoulder this time. So you're going to pull that right shoulder in, feel the right elbow lift, bringing the head and the hand up too. And then slowly releasing. So the hands, the elbows come back down. Starting with that right shoulder, pull it in, elbow lifts, head and hand come up too. And then slowly again, rewind and settle back down. And just let go of that action for a second. So I don't know if any of you felt that. Let's do it again. But now as you do this next time, notice your left leg, it tightens up a little bit. Do you feel that? Unwind, and then as you relax, notice your left leg kind of relax. It does, doesn't it? Your buttock lets go. So now we're going to bring some attention to that left side. So keeping the top of the body nice and sleepy, take just your left leg up and back away from the floor. And then relax it down. So it's just your left leg, bring it up and back away from the floor. And then relax it down. Let go of that action each time between. Do it one more time. And then relax it. So now we're going to piece those two movements together. So starting with that right shoulder, squeeze it back, elbow lifts, head lifts, hand lifts, and then take your left leg up as well. Slowly return to the ground. Right shoulder, right elbow, right hand, left leg. Slowly return to the ground. Relax. Do it one more time. Right shoulder, right elbow, the head, left leg. Slowly return to the ground and let go. Turning the other way. So looking this time towards your left elbow. I can do this one properly now. So I haven't got my headphones on that side. So left elbow's on the floor. Your right cheek is on the back of the hand and you're just looking lazily at your left elbow. So again, float the left elbow up, the head and the hand. And again, relax back to the floor and let go of the action. So from the left shoulder, the left elbow, the head and the hand come up. And again, settle back down, just let go of it. On this next one, as you bring the elbow and the head and the hand up, just feel as you come back to the floor, what happens in your right butt cheek. It relaxes, doesn't it? So just stay on the ground at the top and then take your right leg up and back. And then drop it down. Right leg up and back. Drop it down. Right leg up and back. Drop it down and pause. So leading with your left shoulder, bring the elbow back and the left shoulder and the head of the hand. Take your right leg up as well. Settle back down. So this hand, it's acting like a cushion basically for your head. So please don't pull and bring too much strain in the neck. Elbow, shoulder, head and hand, right leg. Settle back down. So again, that left shoulder, left elbow, head and hand, right leg. Settle back down. So here is the joy. So coming back into our little position again on the floor, we're going to come back into our little cobra. So bringing your hands in line with your shoulders. So again, if you're to look at your shoulders, you've got your shoulder, elbow, wrist, kind of in a nice little line. Come up onto fingertips. Look into the floor. And again, begin to press down into the fingertips. Rising up. Is it a happier cobra? Mine certainly feels so. Settle back down. Placing your hands just by your chest with your elbows back. Press into your hands, rise up, push your hands forward, settle back down and soften back into child's pose. Just let go for a second, feel in the lower back, have a little squidge through the hips. I've just brought up a word there, squidge through your hips. I don't even know what that means. Okay, so let's tuck our tailbone under, let your hands slide in, coming to seated. So we've actually just arrived in hero pose at the back of the mat. So come up onto your toes this time. So I've just tucked my toes under. So it's like you might even do this to kneel, might you, in your house. I'm just going to move forward. I've got a wall. place your hands on the floor either side of your knees. Oh, look at me in business now. Roll my sleeves up. So hands just on the floor either side of your knees. And we're going to use these hands again now. So just push into the floor with your hands. Feel your knees begin to lift up, pushing your hands forward. It's going to roll your heels towards the floor. Just take your time. Doesn't matter how it is. What I'd actually ask you to do maybe at this point is have a think about your knees and your hips. Is it comfortable to be like that? Maybe widen out your feet, let your knees turn out. Have a little play at this point. What's going to feel right and wholesome for your hips? We've all got different hips. And then when you're ready, think then about your knees being heavy. Just let your knees be heavy, let them come back to the floor. As they come back to the floor, follow that movement up your spine. Just let your tailbone lift, bring your heart forwards. And then again, push with your hands, rolling over the balls of feet. Your heels come towards the floor. Let your tailbone become heavy and look down towards your foot at the floor. And then again, using your knees this time, let your knees be heavy. Let them float towards the floor. Follow the movement through your spine. Let your heart come forward. Kind of come in towards something that might even be like lion pose. If you want to stick your tongue out, you can. Push your hands forwards, rolling onto your heels. So I've got, obviously, there's an arm balance we can do at this point. It's a bit early on, but why not even, try it at this point? It's a lovely challenge. And I sent everybody out videos the other week about how to do them. So I hope you've all done your homework. So if you want to start to come towards crow pose, you can do that. So I'm going to stay on the balls of, in my little crouch. My hands are wide. And then I'm sliding my hands in towards me so I can then feel the backs of my arms on the fronts of my knees. And then I'm going to come up onto the balls of my feet. So a little bit of a push through the toes. I can feel my legs engage, bottom lifts. And then the whole process then for me is to bring that head towards the front of my mat and keeping my arms straight. So I'm getting my head towards the front of the mat. The knees go into the backs of the arms. I'm going forwards, forwards, forwards. I can feel that transfer of weight into hands, toes becoming lighter. Woohoo! Almost went too far. It's always fun when you fall over. And then we can again settle back down towards our crouch. I heard some people just stare. I'm not doing that. That's fine. You don't have to do that. You might just want to keep rolling in and out of that first minute because that's just as lovely. So again, you can always bring those knees to the floor. That's it. So when I spent years thinking that to do a crow, I had to press into my hands and drop on my weight into my hands, but it isn't. For me, crow is all about getting the head over here. So it's a pivot. If you can picture yourself like a human seesaw, this is the center of the seesaw. You're trying to get your center of gravity over the hands. So just keep bringing your weight forwards. A lot of it is a fear thing as well, I tend to find. And then again, settle back down. Okay, I think we've crowed enough, haven't we? So settle back down onto your knees and then come back up onto all fours. So again, we're going to do some more rolling into dog this time. So hands are on the floor, knees under hips, looking at your hands. Lift your tailbone, come up into your, what is it called? It's called cow pose, isn't it? And then looking along the wall, looking along the floor, looking down the mat, looking down towards your knees. Push with your hands, guide your bottom down to heels. From this place with your arms straight, look between your hands, look along the floor, look up to the ceiling. Feel your tailbone shift back, come back up onto your hands and knees. Looking down the floor, looking down the mat, looking to your knees, just gently press with your hands, keep your arms straight, just feeling your weight going into your heels. Just do that a few times, floating up, tailbone lifts, looking down, tailbone drops. Just get that sensation of the connection between your head and your tailbone. And then what I'd like us now to begin to do is settle into our heels. So looking down to your knees, then look between your hands and just with your hands, press your hands forward, feel your knees lift, and then come back onto your knees. Maybe come back up to all fours. So again, take your bottom to your heels, pressing towards your hands, allow your knees to lift. And that's a bit of a straighten. So what I'd like us now to do is begin to straighten the legs. Straightening, unbend the knees, let your gaze go back between the space between your feet. So legs at this point should be with a little bit of a bend, and I want you to focus on lengthening the spine. So bend the knees, pushing the hands forwards, lengthening the spine. And then again, re-bend the knees, let your knees feel heavy, coming back down onto all fours. And then we'll do that again. So starting with your bottom on your heels, looking between your hands, press with your hands, feel your knees lift, unbend the knees, starting to straighten the spine, looking back towards the feet. And now we're kind of finding our dog. So I do like a dog from this position. Focus on your heels. Follow what you can feel through your heels. So start to guide your heels towards the floor. Your heels are attached to your legs are attached to your hips. Feel your hips being drawn back. Now, from this place, push down with your toes. You're going to feel your hips, your heels lifting. You're going to feel your heels pushing your thigh bones. Your thigh bones are pushing your hips. Keep pushing through those toes. Start to bring your shoulders forwards over your wrists. From this place, lead with your heels. Start to think about bringing your heels towards the floor. Feeling your heels guide your thighs guide your hips guide your spine, coming back towards dog. Pushing down with the toes, the heels lift, the shins, the knees, the thigh bones, the hips, the spines, roll forward towards your, what is it called? It's kind of shoulders over wrists, isn't it? Leading with your heels, settle back, coming back towards our downward facing dog. So those heels are very clever, aren't they? As you push down with toes, thigh bones push forwards, we float forwards towards our shoulders over wrists. And then as you pull the heels pull the thighs pull the hips pull the spine, settling down. You might want to push down with the toes and bring your right knee under your armpit. And then press the right foot back, lead with the heels back towards the floor. Push down with toes. So again, shoulders come over wrist. You might want to bring your left knee towards your left armpit. Placing, again, yourself back in dog. Bring your knees to the floor and settle down just for a second. So come back to child if you wish. Take a seat if you wish. I do love heels. I do love heels. That sounds ridiculous. But I like that connection, feeling that movement through there. You find that really, really energetic. Once you get to the sensation of the bones, I think it really opens it up. Anyway, so what comes next? Some more fun stuff comes next. So taking a seat at the back of your mat, tuck your toes under. I told you it wasn't all roly-poly today. Taking your right foot in front of your left knee. So when I do this, we're not doing the same thing as we did earlier on in the week. When I do this movement, I like to imagine that I've got like a little line in front of my right knee that goes directly behind my ankle. So like I've got a ruler. Imagine just, I can't even describe it any better than that. Then from this place, bring your weight forwards and into your right foot. So you bring your bottom off that back heel. It's going to feel a lot more comfortable on your toes. And then take your belly down over your thighs and just settle in your fingertips into the floor. So we're not going to do my classic thing, which is to come into Parsvottanasana from here. We're going to come up to standing from this place. So begin to press down into the floor with your right foot. Feel your left knee lift. Just keep pushing into the floor, straighten up and let your left foot find the floor. Looking forward. I feel like almost Schwarzenegger or something coming from Terminator when he comes out of the floor. Like, is it when he's all naked? Does it come from an egg or something, or an asteroid? I'm showing my lack of film knowledge. Looking down towards your right foot. Think about softening forwards, let your arms drape down. Kind of halfway down, bend your left knee and come back to the floor. And then do it again. So leading with your right foot, press, feel your left knee lift. Keep pressing with that right foot. Unbending, coming up to standing. So I want those legs to bring you up, not the spine. That spine follows. Looking down towards the foot, again, soften forwards. Halfway down, bend the left knee, come back down to the floor. We're just trying to think about stability for that right knee, right hip. And then again, press with the right foot, rising up. Looking down, softening down. Oh, I've changed. If I have a look at your knees, my knees have completely changed position. But I think it's a good starting point, and your body starts to fall into the kind of things that feel right for you. Again, settle back down. So again, soften forwards first, and then bend the knee. And then the next time we come up, we're going to stay there. So stay there. So looking forward. Have a little look at your feet. So when you're coming up this time, have a look at your feet. So just make sure that left heel isn't turned out, because that's going to be really horrible in your hips. Have them kind of pointing roughly forwards. Where's your pelvis? Is it upright? Do you feel you've got a kind of neutral spine, nothing too forced? Bringing your hands to heart just so where there's somewhere for them to, I can't even speak, somewhere for them to be. And then pressing down with your toes on that left foot, let your left heel float up. So we're going to come into, it's kind of a modified version of warrior. So leading with your left knee, bend it towards the floor. Keep your pelvis upright, coming into, I think this is called Astri Chandrasana. So we want to have a little look down at our right knee. So you want to be able to see that big toe, so knee over ankle. Pelvis should feel upright. Spine should feel nice and free. If you want to, you can always walk that left knee back a little bit and bend it a little bit more. So we're just trying to keep ourselves from going over that front knee. Inhaling, hands up, 5 breaths. Hands to heart. Left arm goes forwards. Right arm goes back. So we're going to feel the chest turn, pressing both palms away. And as you do that, think about keeping your head, heart and hips aligned. So we're not leaning. Keep that spine upright, looking back towards the right hand. Right hand goes drops down behind you, floating the left hand up, looking over the right shoulder, 5 breaths. Coming back, looking towards the space in front of you, dropping your weight back into that back heel. So let's have a bit of a wiggle, settle down. I'm going to turn around. I can't balance looking at this wall. I fall over an awful lot. So I will spin around now this time to demonstrate this next pose. So we've still got our right foot forward, got that left heel back. Taking your hands onto your lower back. So these hands are going to be a little cheeky little guide. So if you keep your thumb and little finger touching, when we fold from our hips, those hands should stay in that same position. Once you've come to the end of our range of movement in our hamstrings, you'll start to feel that happening as your spine does the work. So I want to come down first with those hands touching. So looking down towards your right big toe, keep the back of the knee soft. Take an inhale. Exhale, slowly tipping. So keeping those hands touching as you come down. So floating forward. Take your right hand, drop it down onto your right shin. And then think about keeping your spine in the center of the mat. Turn the chest, keeping the spine in the center of the mat, looking up over your left shoulder. If it feels good, let go of that right hand and press the back of the hand into the shin. So using more core. And we can take the left arm up and back, spreading the fingers. Turning the body back towards the floor. Bend the knees a little so the fingertips find the floor. And we're going to go into everybody's favourite balance. This is Astri Chandrasana. I always get the two mixed up. This is a half moon pose. So walking your hands forwards, letting your weight go into your right foot, and then take your left foot off the floor. So this one, we don't have to do the movement, particularly if our hips are not too happy, because if there's a hip turn, you turn your hips to the left. So keeping your fingertips on the floor, you might be happy to do that and place your left hand on the back. Whoops-a-daisy, you might not as well. If you're happy to turn the hips so your body begins to face that left side of the mat. And if you're feeling comfortable, you take your left arm up. You might want to bring that left foot in towards your bottom and grab hold of the big toe. Turning your body back towards the floor. Drop your left foot behind, press into your right foot and roll back to standing. Oh, very warm. So, like I said, there's lots to twist in today's class. We're going to move into Revolve Triangles. So we approach it in the same way. With this one, you might need a block. I don't, I've got long arms. So it's your left hand's going to be on the floor, so we're going to turn towards that right foot. So we've got that right foot forwards. Again, place your hands on the lower back. Take a breath and exhale, folding forward. Take your left hand down onto your block or onto the floor. Fingertips are fantastic. It creates extension through the arm. And then what I tend to notice already, I've got more weight in that right foot, and that's where you want it. So as you press into your left hand, feel your weight shifting into your right foot, and that your spine starts to spiral forwards a little bit, and you can begin to draw that right shoulder back. Looking over the right shoulder. I can see this pose is not for everybody, and that's perfect. You can always come back to the one we've just done, the first triangle. So folding forwards with that right hand down. Turning your body back towards the floor. So again, like if you didn't like that pose, I know some of us aren't, like balance can really trouble us. So if you wish to, you know, you could always come back to that first triangle with the right hand on the floor and turning the chest to the left. And then we're going to do a balance again, but it's the reverse version of that first one. So again, we've got that right foot forwards, walking your hands forwards, letting that weight go into your right foot and lifting your left foot up off the floor. So with this one, the hips don't really turn. So you're going to keep your left hand on the floor this time and place your right hand on the lower back. And again, we don't have to do anything other than this. We can keep it as it's a balance. It's like a supported version of our warrior three. But if you wish, start to draw that right shoulder back, looking over the right shoulder. But you can all hear me Darth Vader in it. I'm really sorry. Turning your chest back towards the floor. Left foot finds the floor. Press with your right. Come up. Hands come to heart. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. You lucky people. Be stopping soon. Bending your left knee. Come all the way down to the floor. Keeping your palms together, turn your chest and your body all the way around so it's facing that right side. So your left elbow kind of becomes parallel with that right knee. Drop your left elbow down onto the right knee with the palms together. Pressing the palms, turn the chest. So here, again, just check that we're not forcing into that sacrum. We don't have to do anything, just keep the hips pointing forward, feeling the chest turn. If you wish, press your left heel away, float your right knee up. Turn your body back towards the floor. Settle down, bringing your knees under the body, take a seat on your heels. Thinking I've got another leg, it feels really sad. Gonna make it happy then now. So stepping your left foot in line with your right knee. Taking your weight up into that left foot. Again, just make sure you feel comfortable. And again, we're gonna come up. So come down firstly onto the floor so we can relax the shoulders and the fingertips and the elbows. And then this left foot is going to do all that work. I find this so enlightening. I'm so wonky and I've got to do a lot more of this in my spare time. So pushing with your left foot, feel your right knee begin to lift, rising up, right heel comes into the floor. Bending your right knee. Oh, sorry, you don't do. You look down first, come halfway down, then bend your right knee. Coming down with control to the floor. Excuse me, pushing with your left foot, feel yourself, that movement from the floor, flowing up the bones, dropping your right heel into the floor. Again, looking down, coming halfway down. As you come halfway down, bend the right knee and settle down. Pushing with your left foot. Again, feel the flowing of sensation up the bones, coming to standing. I'm really wobbly on this left side. It's so amazing. Looking down, bending the right knee, settle down to the floor. Again, pushing with that left foot, uncurls to standing. Coming halfway down, bending the knee, settle down. What I've noticed about this is I rarely get off the floor with this left leg. I habitually get off with the right leg. So this is kind of practicing something you might actually do in your own house. So this next time we float up, we stay there, settle into this stride, hands come to heart, raising your right heel, dip your right knee to the floor. So again, as you're doing this, we're keeping a watchful eye of the pelvis and the spine. So as we bend the knee, keeping the spine and the pelvis aligned, looking down towards that left knee. So again, what we don't want to do is lean into it and strain the knee. So we're going down, we're going to feel this in the hips. Inhaling, floating arms up. 5 breaths. Spreading the toes on the left foot, squeeze the heel slightly. Right arm goes forward, left arm goes back, turning your chest, looking left. 5 breaths. Left arm drops down the back, float the right hand up, looking over the left shoulder, 5 breaths. Turn the body back towards the floor. Drop your right heel into the floor, and again, you still got that left foot forward. Hands come to the lower back. Inhale, fold forward. So again, just watching what that spine does. Left hand finds the shin. Keeping that spine somewhere in the center, draw the right shoulder back. So opening out into triangle pose, looking up over the right shoulder. Again, we can take the right arm up if you wish. So imagine you want someone's attention, reach up to the ceiling. If you wish, take that left hand away from the shin and press into the back of the palm into the side of the shin, using, again, the core. Keep that left knee from locking out. And then turn your body back towards the floor. Stepping forwards into your left foot, fingers come away as well. Bringing that weight into your left foot, float your right foot back. So again, this is a pose where we've got that big movement in the hips, so we can always keep facing the floor and take your hand onto your lower back, your right hand. So we don't have to turn, but if you're happy to turn, feel that push on the left foot, guiding your hips around, and you start to face that right side of the mat. We can bring the right hand up if we wish. We can bring that right foot in towards our hand and take hold of the big toe, if we wish. That's not the be all and end all. Turning your body back to the floor, drop your right foot, float back up. I tend to find you do it, so whee, the legs nice and heavy. And then we're going into Revolve Triangles. So hands come to lower back, looking to this left big toe. Looking down really does help. If you were to look, come forward, looking forwards and lifting, you're sending a brain signal down your back to not let go of those muscles. Looking down is setting this intention to come forward. It's going to release those muscles a little bit. So take a fold forward, looking down. And then fingertips, that right hand's going to find the floor or a block. And as you do that, as you bring the weight into that right hand, feel your weight shifting into that left foot. Feel like you've practiced that a few times. Take your hand off the floor, bring the hand into the floor, and just feel this, like for me, is a spiral already starting. So you're just going to press the fingertips and start to spiral, look up over the left shoulder. Taking the left hand up if you wish. Turning your body back towards the floor. And then walk your hands forward, dropping your weight into your left foot, taking the right foot off the floor this time. This time that right hand stays on the floor. So again, it could be you're going to just practice balancing with both fingertips on the floor. It might be you're going to just play with taking the left hand off the floor. Maybe that left hand finds the lower back. Maybe you're going to practice that little press into the right hand as you draw the left shoulder back, look up over the left shoulder. Turning back towards the floor, lower the right leg, float up, whee. I am burning up, hands come to heart, lower the right knee down. I'm going to spin around so I can look at you. Like I say, I can't balance looking that way. I don't know if you ever watched Zoolander and he can't turn left. I can't balance looking that way. So here we are on the floor. So Your right knee's under your hips, taking your hands to heart, turning your body to face this left side. So again, your right elbow kind of hovers over the left thigh. Taking the elbow down to thigh, press into the palms, and just again, check your pelvis. Should be nice and even, that we can feel that twist through the spine and not in the pelvis. If we wish, we lift the back knee up, pushing back. Lower down. Lay on your back. While I play with my camera again. Okay, so here's the fun bit, she says. I enjoyed all that actually. So I'll show you where I'd like you to go, well, where I'm happy to go, I should say. But we've got lots of things in between. So if you're unhappy to go there, then don't go there. So here we are. So we're going to do, I'm doing this speed up. Imagine you put me on forward wind. That's my left leg, that's my right arm. Here we go. I'm going to push and, oh no, I'm going to hold on to this left ankle. We're going to get there. Then we're going to push and roll over and go, wee, look. So it's like a single-legged bow pose. And then we're going to roll back, go do that a few times, wee. And then we'll do the other side, wee, and back. So I'll lead you there. So from there, you can come into bridge. We're going to push down, lift up, and you fall. So your hips go, your knees go, and you go, wee, and then you can come back. Imagine you need to escape from somewhere. That's what I was saying this the other week. So we'll go the other way, knees go, hips go, wee. You don't have to say wee, but I am coming back. I'm trying to sell it to you. Then this is the bit that I like. So we can come into bridge. You can actually just relax and do some twists if you wish, rather than going into the bit that I want to do at the end. So here I am in my bridge, walking shoulders down so I can touch my ankles. And then I'm going to drop my bottom onto my heels. And that's nice, so you don't have to do anything else. But I think it'd be nice for me to bring my knees to the floor. So I'm going to bring my knees to the floor and go up onto my head. And I love that, but you might not. And then we're going to come out and collapse. So that's it. So that's what I thought I'd show it you. So you've got all those reasons to back out if you want to back out. Yeah. So shall we do the first bit? So lay down, enjoy yourself, and straighten your right leg, stand your left leg up. So we're going to get to that. And like I say, we don't have to do the end of it. We're probably not going to get relaxation today. You just have to lie down in a darkened room at the end of the lesson. So you've got your right leg straight, your left leg bent. And yeah, from here, can you touch your left ankle? Find a way to touch your left ankle. So you might even step your knee out a little bit. Can you touch your left ankle? I've got my hands wrapped around the front of the ankle. It might be you're going to maybe hold on to the foot in some way. Find a way to hold on to that left ankle. And then your right arm, just bring the hand onto your belly. And slowly slide the hand up the belly, up the chest, up the chin, up the nose, to the forehead, and then let it slide away onto the floor above your head. Just do that a few times, retrace the steps. So you're going to bring the hand along the floor to the crown of the head, down the forehead, down the nose, down the lips, down the chin, down the chest to the belly, and just let it rest on the belly. And again, sliding your hand along the chest, along the chin, along the nose, along the forehead. And again, lengthen it away. Just settle the arm into the floor. And then press into your left foot. Feel your pelvis turning. And just do that a few times. Don't push it. Just take it to the end of that movement very gently. Push it into the foot. Feel the pelvis turning. Notice that you're kind of leaning into that right side, into your right ribs. So just do that a few times. And maybe now, the next time you do it, you could push into, as you push into that left foot, look to your right hand. Feel how your left shoulder comes off the floor. And then again, settle back down onto your back. So just pushing into your foot. Feeling, as you look to your right hand, your left shoulder comes up off the floor. So you've got that left leg, you've got your right leg straight, your left leg bent. And then if it feels good, as you look to your right hand, roll over onto your tummy, let your belly, you've got your head lifted and you look into your right hand. And then lead with your left foot, feet it back to the floor, roll back onto your back. So again, it's that push of the foot, feel the hips, the belly, looking at your right hand. Can you roll onto your tummy? Look towards your right hand. And then leading with your left foot, feed yourself all the way back onto your back. Straighten out your legs, do the opposite side. So you're going to bend your right knee, stand the foot up. Find a way for your right hand to touch your ankle. You've got your hand on your belly, sliding your hand up the chest, up the chin, up the nose, up the forehead, and out onto the floor above your head. Just let it rest there. And then press with your right foot, turn your pelvis, feel it roll into the left. You might even feel your left knee turning out, your left foot turning out. Just do that again a few times. So you're just pressing with that right foot, feeling your pelvis roll to the left. And then maybe next time, look to your hands, press, feel your right shoulder lift off the floor. Can you roll all the way over onto your tummy? It took me a bit of go, so I think I need a few more little presses. Rolling back onto your back, so you lead with that right foot, roll through the bone, settle back onto your back. So you press with the foot, feel the pelvis, look into your left hand, woo, rolling over onto your tummy. And then again, rolling back onto your back. Let's do that again one more time. Pressing softly with your foot, feel your pelvis, looking at your hands, roll over. And then again, roll back onto your back. Sliding both feet in. Bring your knees into your belly, just give yourself a little hug, and we can maybe press our hands forwards, pull our knees in, just release the lower back a little bit more. Okay, so dropping your feet into the floor, just rest your hands down, just softly down by your side, and begin to press into your feet and feel your hips begin to lift. So again, this is where we've got all these little options. We can just maybe come into some bridges. We don't have to do anything, too out of our comfort zone. So just pressing down into your feet, feel your pelvis begin to float up, rolling up through the back. Just let that movement come from your feet. If you're comfortable, begin to walk your shoulders down towards your feet and take hold of your ankles. You don't have to do that. You can walk your hands back out again. Walk your shoulders back in. Walk your shoulders back out again. Walk your shoulders back in. If you want to, we can again come back down and settle out of it and bring the knees into the belly and just let go of that sensation for a little while. And we could maybe again come into that. So again, when I just have a play with this, pressing into feet, rolling up, walking shoulders. I don't think I want to roll into the, I think it's a little bit too much today. So here's where I'm just going to explore coming down onto those knees. So if you want to, don't. If you do want to, I'm walking my bottom so I can feel my bottom coming into my heels, and I can feel my heels have lifted and I'm now on my toes, and my bottom is on my shins. And then you could just leave it here. Should we come away from here? So push with your feet forwards, walk your shoulders away and settle down onto your back. So again, pushing into you, if you're going to explore this, again, we're going to push into the feet, feel your hips lift, and then you walk your shoulders down towards your heels. Bottom finds the shins. You're rolling onto the balls of the feet. And again, push your feet forwards, roll back out and settle onto your back. Bring your knees in towards you if this, again, is something you want to explore. So I'm going to come into that movement now. So the knees come to the floor. And as the knees come to the floor, you're going to the forehead slides onto the floor. So you're going to be looking back. So it's a movement that comes from the knees, through the hips, through the spine, through the neck, to the crown of the head. So again, you can always maybe come towards it and come back out of it. The choice is yours. So again, I'm going to drop the feet into the floor, pressing into the feet, feeling the hips begin to lift. Walking shoulders down towards the feet, hands come to feet, and then I'm just going to keep walking so I can feel my bottom hit my shins. My bottom is on my shins, and then it's my knees that are going to work now. So the knees are going to come forwards. I can feel my head sliding, I'm on the crown of the head and I'm looking to that wall behind me. Sliding away, push with your feet, bring your knees into your belly and give yourself a really good hug. So from here, extend your legs out in front of you and just let the ground be your friend. Feeling your breath. Awareness down to the tummy. Just noticing how we've used all this energy today. Again, we've got a lot of fire burning in our tummies today. And I think, you know, a lot of the poses today asked us to be determined and to be confident. The poses today asked us to be sure of ourselves. So as we're resting into this moment, just ask yourself, do we feel confident? Do we feel self-confident? I think this class today has asked us to find the correct responses for our body, you know, and I mentioned the vrittis beginning of the lesson before we chatted about, you know, how the vrittis in our Manipura chakra showed themselves up, being jealous, laziness, sadness, and asking ourselves if we can find better responses. And through our postures, we've inquired, should we be doing this? Does it feel right? Is there something better I can do? And as we think about these vrittis, the negative aspects that show themselves up in our lives, can we find better ways of dealing with things? Congratulating people, finding joy in small things, feeling fear and doing it anyway. And again, reflecting on the physical body as it is at this present moment, the sense of energy that we feel flowing, the mood of the body, and again, the physical sensations. There's a connection between all three. Sending your awareness to the space between the eyebrows and your chakra. And again, this is where we just start to think about being an inner witness to ourselves and our behavior and the body itself. Bringing that focus now just to the space just above the lips, feeling how we bring our energy inwards and outwards. And then whenever we're ready, start to open our eyes and draw towards seated. I'll say namaste to people who watch the video, and then eat, because people do watch them apparently.